See, now, if this logo had been at the start of the picture, when it was in theaters, we might have had a shot. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it was a Gramercy release. Hi, everybody. Kevin Smith and crew here for Mallrats commentary, DVD style. Before we get kicking, let's just start from my right. We got Chasing Amy's Jason Lee sitting over yon way. Next to him is Jason Fat Bud's Muse.
Howdy-ho!
Over here to my immediate left, we have Phantom's Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to the sci-fi crowd that know your work.
To my sci-fi peeps. Thanks for the support.
Next to him, we have the ever-popular Scott Mosier.
Hey, what's up?
Man, a few words. And Vincent Pereira, the resident View Askew historian and guy who really spearheaded this little project in particular. Say hello, Vincent.
Hello, everybody.
All right, we're talking over Lee's brilliant little entrance monologue here and missing all the low-rent sets at the Eden Prairie Mall. You could really pick out the sets.
Where am I? You notice I'm not here in this shot.
No.
Proprietor, not
Had we
features.
known, maybe we'd have put you in the first shot, but we didn't know at that time. Rug Munchers, cheapest joke in the picture. See, there it is. There's why the movie kind of went down in flames.
Making
Gramercy.
friends and influencing people. Kevin Smith.
Good people, good bunch of people just couldn't market themselves out of a paper bag. And
Jim
you can
Jacks,
attest to
Affleck.
that. I mean, you...
Yeah, I've been in
You've had 3 Gramercy failures. I've had 1.
But you did get this kick-ass animated credits.
We did. We got this tremendous opening animation, opening artwork credit sequence, and that was off of our first screening of the flick that we had in San Diego at the Comic-Con International. We
Party
brought
of
the
5, Jeremy London.
That's right, man. Good eye. All these artists had seen the movie while we were out at San Diego, and they had known Clerks too. And since the movie had that comic book theme to it, we said, would you like to work on it? And Mosier pretty much put that together.
This is still my favorite intro of my career.
Ben Affleck.
It sums you up best.
Allowed
actually.
myself to be called Buttman. Who was my agent?
We can even point out that this is the 4th version of the opening and the final one that was used.
It's true. There were many different versions to open this movie by virtue of the fact that we had a bad first test screening on the movie. And I believe on the DVD there is that cut footage, yes?
Yes.
So you'll see what nobody else has seen and why we had to keep changing the opening of the movie as well as the other openings to the movie.
Yeah.
Nice. But this we felt opened the picture best, along with that cold monologue by Lee at the front.
I wanted the with credit, but Priscilla Barnes beat me out with it. and Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer's Michael Rooker.
Michael Rooker.
Ira Newborn is a guy that used to do music for John Hughes a lot, all the early John Hughes favorites.
Really?
Yeah, he's a good guy. We got to point out Don Phillips, who was the casting dude to pull a lot of these people together. Brought in Lee, brought in Ben.
He
brought in a 6-pack.
He did bring in a 6-pack, didn't he?
Just right. That's right. That's where we went wrong.
Also, the only time you ever worked with an outside editor.
That's true. This is the only guy who's ever touched any of the flicks we've done for thus far,
That's why
including
it's
the unreleased Dogma.
The one picture that has some decent editing and has a nice clip.
There is a fluidity to it, isn't there? That's just lacking in the other pictures. Claire Forlani, what's that picture she's in soon coming out?
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black.
Huge release.
Meet Joe Black's Claire Forlani in her you couldn't say it's her comedic debut because she was in a Police Academy picture.
4.
Mission to Moscow. That's right.
She was in The Rock, dude.
There
She's
he is.
actually British, but she's doing her American accent.
She has to beat The Rock.
You'll see that we cut a bunch of stuff right before that hug. I
Yeah.
believe it's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be on the
that's gonna be
outtake
here.
stuff. But we should point out that that's not Jason London from Dazed and Confused, which a lot of people thought it was by virtue of the fact that you were in the picture and Joey Adams was in the picture. They thought it was some kind of Dazed and Confused reunion. It's his lesser brother, Jeremy. Now, by lesser, I mean younger. It was Jeremy London, TV's Jeremy London from Party of 5.
And I'll fly away.
You'll notice his hair looks different here from the rest of the movie because we shot this sequence way after we shot the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And he shot it in California, whereas the rest of the film was shot in Minnesota.
It was also shot by the looks of it at the Brady House.
There's a shot coming up of Michael Rooker that is actually from the cut footage.
That's included in this because it was an ass shot.
Yeah.
You'll see it's a butt shot coming up, and at Universal, ass meant funny, so we left it in. Claire, we should point out too, is not American. She's a very, very British. She's just flat out British. So she's maintaining a
She
pretty good
looks
American
British.
accent.
She's really British.
Yeah, she's very
Remember
British.
someone kept forgetting lines because someone was pretty stoned?
Yeah. There's someone in the cast that kind of had a hard time remembering lines, and
Can't be me. I didn't have any lines.
it wasn't you. It was one of these people in the flick. I don't know if we should point out who, but he was in the parlance stoned a lot through most of the picture. So we'll point it out throughout.
Yeah. There was even another thing you shot here because you shot a bit that was far back where you had this little fight going on with these people running in front of the house, and they hear him scream, "She's fucking dead!" And then the guy looked and crashed into a bike, and there was a fight, but
And that
never
guy
worked.
was
me.
Vincent Perez.
Yeah.
Look at the Rook.
Cut
Oh,
out.
here's Rooker.
I love the Rook.
Rooker was brought in by Jim Jacks, who begged him to do it because he worked with Rooker on Tombstone, and we needed a Svenning, and we wanted the guy from Ghostbusters, Bill Atherton, who wouldn't do it. But then, ironically enough, he wouldn't do it because he didn't want to do this childish a picture. And then, ironically, I've wound up doing Biodome shortly after we wrapped.
With Joey Adams.
Look at that ass.
With
Look at that
Joey
ass.
It's a more mature film.
Yeah.
It's an informed piece of work, that one.
And
So Rooker came in and you know, gave it his all, and he's actually a pretty funny guy. Most people think of him as a serious dude.
He even showed his ass.
But his part probably, aside from the whole opening, his part got altered the most by the editing because the whole opening sequence that got cut set up why he disliked TS so much.
Right.
So when you cut that, you ended up losing a bunch of stuff of Rooker even later on in the picture.
And then he basically left with a ham-handed narrative about a couple of kids
Yeah.
just bombing around the mall.
Well, you know,
one might
Hands in
say.
their trousers.
The ironic thing is that's what was the original opening of the script anyway. It kind of got there was a sequence.
Did you say the erotic thing?
No, the ironic thing, not erotic.
Very little erotic.
Up, here's Jason Lee.
Hey!
Chasing Amy's Jason Lee?
Chasing
Yes.
Amy's Jason.
Look at that
Sans
shirt,
beard.
Henry Hudson. That's the school that Mr. Kevin Smith went to growing up.
Who else?
And Jason Fatbuds Muse.
That's right. It's your alma mater as well. Show some pride, HH.
Yeah.
Sitting next to Chasing Amy's Jason Lee would be Beverly Hills 90210's Shannon Doherty, now of late of Charmed fame.
Is that the name of her new show?
That's the name of her witch show.
Did you ever see that what's that, Film Threat magazine, when they show a picture of her in there?
Mm-mm.
And it shows the angles. Remember? There's two good
right.
ones. I don't know what the
This is a recurring
picture-
theme, Kevin. Can you tell us about the video hockey thing?
Yeah, there's I'm a fan. Unfortunately, we pimped out on EA Sports. We originally had the EA Sports NHL 94 or 95 version in the film, and then some of the good folks over in production or post production hooked up some sort of bizarre arcane deal with, who was it, Sega, and said, you know, if you include our version of hockey, we'll put you on our Sega tour. They were touring around the country with video games, and they were going to feature us.
Oh, that helped.
Yeah, really. Well, in the end, they pimped out on us, and they did not feature us, and we had changed it all for nothing. We turned our backs. We kind of betrayed our favorite EA Sports NHL 93 or 94,
Sell out in
95.
more ways than one.
I know, yes. Just the last of many sellouts.
It's funny as Scorsese has a running theme of, like, you know, crime and grit in the streets, and your running theme is video game hockey.
Yeah.
Or just hockey. You know, you don't have to limit it to one.
Did you put some posters up there for homages to various things? I noticed the Tremors poster and
All
Jim
Universal
Jacks worked
Mm.
films.
Yeah, Jim Jacks worked on Tremors. He was real tight with that picture. And all the comic book stuff you'll notice in the flick is Marvel comics. No DC, nothing like that. It's all Marvel.
Was
By virtue of the fact that Stan Lee was in the picture.
Was Comedy Central even well known back then?
Comedy
95?
Central was a very small network that had not had their breakout success with
Yeah.
South Park.
with also
In many
they
ways,
had
this
another
movie is
show.
very, very much ahead of its time, quite like Ridley Scott's Blade Runner.
Yes.
Which was a film, too, that was never appreciated until years down the road.
It's the Blade Runner of comedies.
That is.
I think we have a few more years to wait. This film might be appreciated by archaeologists digging through the ruins of an old civilization.
As long as they find the DVD.
Did you see
I'll be
that?
happy.
She put the window up and snapped it to the ceiling, and now, like, it clicks back and it's not hooked up.
Continuity,
Don't
baby.
be pointing out that nonsense. Heavens. Yeah, well, that's what ruined the picture, I always thought.
Me too. Well, didn't someone pull her through the window too? It looked like she was climbing.
She was actually pulled out through
There was
the window.
a very funny Jason Lee moment there that was clipped when he just looks at that note and he goes, "Are you crazy?"
Mm-hmm.
And there was a bunch cut out here where, which you'll see later on, where a bunch of news reporters come running up after TS, which is explained by the opening.
His hair is really a lot shorter here than it was in the very first
Yeah,
scene.
exactly.
He was
a
really-
little raggy in the,
Yeah.
in the opening scene.
I remember he was really sick this day, and he had to leave early, and it kind of screwed up your schedule.
He was. He could barely drive the car. He was so sick.
I was sick there
Jeremy.
too, hence the
Yeah.
red nose. From blowing my nose all
We
day.
told
it's all
everyone
red.
it was just coke. That's what we tell people. Like, well, Chasing Amy's Jason Lee has a problem with cocaine.
Well, I wanted to get started early, in my career.
Why wait till you're rich and famous? Just blow it all out right away.
This is actually one of the first times I think in any flick we've ever done, being this was only the second that the camera actually moved. You saw that sweet little dolly maneuver there.
Before or since.
Exactly. That was the only one. Didn't pan out, so I never did it again.
Abandoned. You abandoned that technique. The moving camera technique.
And Lee, this is your first feature.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a brief little one shot in Allison Anders'
La Vida Loca.
girl gang picture.
Yeah, I said
Were you a
nothing.
gangster?
though.
Said nothing.
I stood and acted scared. This was it, though.
I remember
I
when
can see your balls.
I remember when Jason got the part. It was kind of a shock because you were going out to California for final casting, and there was this other guy, David something, and it sounded like that guy had the part locked, and then suddenly I hear it's like this pro skateboarder, Jason Lee, got the part, and I'm like, who's Jason Lee?
Dark horse storming up from the rear.
He did. Skateboarding's Jason Lee. He takes part in Mallrats.
How come they never say Mallrats, Jason Lee? Man, why is it
They
Jason
never say
Lee?
Mallrats anything. This is it. This is where we finally get props for the film because by doing this DVD, it makes it seem like the film is this unappreciated piece of genius. Because there is more going on with this DVD than there ever was during the production of the whole film. There's a commentary. There's all this extra footage and whatnot. And usually that kind of thing's reserved for classy pictures. But for some reason, we're getting to do one for Mallrats, and thank God, because now some people, public opinion, will be like, "Wow, this, we did underestimate the film."
Wasn't this a crew member's house that we filmed in?
Yeah, I don't know which ones, but
On the back
I
of,
think
of
he
the
got a few bucks.
of the Phantoms box, it says Mallrats Ben Affleck.
Does
I
it?
Figure, no.
Not even that.
Not even Phantoms was trying to trade on what little success this film had.
Oh, they're all fools. They'll see.
Yeah.
I do have an inordinate amount of people that come up to me and ask me who my favorite new kid is, and then sometimes they just look at me and go, "Uncomfortable place?" I'm like, yeah, all right.
See, man, you have your fans. I remember all through production of this picture, Affleck was begging us not to cut any of his footage out. And the reason he cited was that you had peeps. Your peeps had an audience that
I had
wanted
a
to see you.
family who I told I was working in movies.
Oh, finally, pops into the picture.
Look at that. Give him the hard look.
First of many appearances.
That's so method.
Looking very different.
And in a few years from then, you guys would be in almost every scene together in Jason Lee's Chasing Amy. I remember when we first when we shot Chasing Amy, I went back and looked at that sequence and just to marvel over. Look, they're together there.
Yeah.
And then watched the movie.
I've now done 3 pictures alongside Jason Lee.
That's right.
That's the only other person I think I've worked with that much is Matt Damon, and that was just because he was an extra in Chasing Amy.
Now we're at the mall.
Bang.
I love
Yeah.
that moment. I
Yeah,
seriously
it was
think
really
that's
good.
funny.
There was if you watch the movie, you see that dude with that crossbeam walking around a lot. That was a little kind of quiet
And the
visual joke that nobody really
And the
picked up
crossbeam is like smaller than anything that's ever put on the stage. It's made out of foil.
Here's another camera move.
on. Yeah, here's another. This is a pretty big
Look at
movie.
that.
That took about
Exposing
6
the
hours to
scope.
set up.
That's depth, my people. That's
Yeah.
depth.
It's a little awkward.
And
I was
here-
learning.
The man, Ethan.
Yeah,
right
Ethan
there.
Suplee.
Ethan first pops into the picture. Ethan playing a character that was originated by Mosier back in Clerks, Willam Black. And people would ask what happened because Mallrats takes place the day before Clerks in the continuity. And people wanted to know why Willam looked like Ethan one day and looked like Scott the next. And we never had any response for them.
You went on the cheese.
No, we told them it was the Willam of two worlds theory. And
Bizarro Willem and
they just looked at us cross, and that was that. The mustard on the shirt I thought was a little much. But,
That was real mustard.
Yeah.
The costume
He's
designer
got
didn't
that
get the
mustard.
idea of some yellow paint or something.
No, just use real mustard. We were going for authenticity in this picture. I remember whenever Ethan went outside, bees would just descend on him.
Yeah.
That happens to him anyway.
What's that picture on Lee's shirt? Who's that a picture of?
Good eye, man.
Nice intro. Look at that segue from you. He's working. So learning.
He's working.
How well Muse knows the story, and yet he's like, Kevin, what's that?
Someone was rehearsing last night. That's it's based on a Richard Avedon shirt. Of an image of this warped image was on a T-shirt, and we couldn't secure the rights to use that image. So basically, as the tale goes, it's
now
made up.
Avedon wishes he was part of this picture.
Exactly. We could have helped his career. It was taken from 3 headshots of actors that didn't make it into the movie, clipped together and morphed. So those are 3 cats that didn't make it in. 3 very happy individuals.
In a way, they did make it.
Are they
Yeah,
credited?
No. Because you can't credit eyes or nose or mouth.
Or any of them, like, later to become famous and now might sue you?
Got to point out that, maybe. Got to point out that Dixie cup that you carry around.
Yeah.
That's a little homage to Walt Flanagan,
Yeah.
friend of ours, who is very much the template for the Brody character. Not nearly as acerbic and not nearly as unwilling to kind of love his lady, but it was definitely a man that was very into comics, would drink Coke from a Dixie cup for days on end, and slacked around, if you will.
And I had that cup on me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, Jason, it was in your right hand the last take.
Uh-oh. In color, and for the first time in color, Jay and Silent Bob. That was one of the TV spots that actually had that voiceover on it.
These characters actually, in the rewrite process, they became much bigger in the script. In the original script, they were just
I
they were
remember in
just
the
sort of
rehearsal
there.
period, Bob became much bigger because I just ate and ate. I'm my fattest I ever am on film in this picture, and the worst haircut. But you're right,
Oh.
Brody, man, nooch.
This is a very bad bit of ADR here.
The ADR.
Yeah, the mad fat chick killer. Watch. He goes excellent, and it was really
It was
they were referring back to the incident
sequence that got cut.
But Jason's real line is
Ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
It was pretty smooth. Smooth edit. This was the first thing we shot of. No, it wasn't the first thing we shot of Muse. The first thing we shot was backstage.
Yeah. Which got cut a bit itself, actually. His first
Will
scene.
we
but
see
that's
that
later.
whole thing later on in the DVD?
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta pay.
God, look
for
at
the
those.
stunt work,
Look
too.
at just the fat hanging off my face. I'm fatter than Ben Affleck in Mallrats.
I had no questions. This is my. That wasn't me. That's my twin brother in there, Barney Affleck. Television's Barney Affleck.
That leather coat, they sewed in 3 additional feet of material on the back, ostensibly so I can do the wing trick later on.
did a nice
But really,
spread.
because it just never fit, because I was really fucking heavy. I think I was weighing in a trim 280 in this picture.
Shut up.
Right?
Were you really?
Yeah.
Check this out. This is
That was
my
bigger than me.
Lee's favorite scene.
You want to destroy the
all
stage?
time.
Hey, we're all for that.
LaForce.
is Sven Thorson, who you might notice from a few Schwarzenegger pictures, including Conan and The Running Man. Anything that rhymes with Ann.
Power Man. What was that show? No, Captain. What was that show he did? Remember Captain?
Captain Planet, the cartoon.
Nah, it was in that show where they all had like suits on and stuff.
I think they wear suits in every show.
Omit that. That went nowhere.
You've seen
Yeah,
the
that
dude
show.
before. He was a good guy.
Gerbils on the window.
That was a little side joke.
Yeah.
I always kind of like that. People did pick that up too.
Look at this. Oh.
That's the store that.
That's the cupping of the balls.
Oh yeah, that's funny. That got cut out of the TV.
That
Yeah.
was also cut out of the TV version.
Oh, was it?
Everything got cut out of the TV.
Yeah, the TV
Did anyone
version.
watch the TV?
Yeah,
we
it
all
was
did.
genius. Dude, it really
Good ratings?
was. It was funnier than the
Finally
picture
brought your
itself.
performance up a
I got
notch.
paid $200.
You
I
went
didn't
in
even
there?
get my check yet, dude. Everyone got paid but me.
What's astounding is you're even keeping tabs on something like a $200. Did I get the Mallrats check yet? No, you got your Armageddon money. No. Where's that Mallrats money? $200.
Because you told me, you were like,
Wait, I
don't
don't
worry,
know
when this
why I
picture
didn't
comes
get
out, you're
paid.
going to be huge.
I was right. When the picture came out on DVD.
I didn't get paid for that. I still don't know what's up.
Your check's coming. It better be.
Yeah, I got mine last week, and that was cut out of the film.
Everyone got that, man. What's up?
I got a pretty big check
Brian
myself.
and Walt.
This sequence was a little
want my
different
money,
in
mother-
the first draft.
See the fake mock-up for the Spike, Mike, Slackers, and Dykes book in the backgrounds before John Pearson's book came out, which we featured in the flick, and I had a hand in working on. A plug for John and his book.
In a way, his book was much bigger than the film itself.
In many ways.
As a matter of fact, in the first, the galley version of the book, before Mallrats came out, there was a line that said, Kevin Smith, who made a big splash with Clerks, and a
an
much
even
bigger splash with the Mallrats. And then
I-
he changed it to a kind of a belly
I
flop.
had to ask him to do that too. He's like, I was going to let it ride. I didn't know what to say. And I was like, just don't lie to the public. Don't lie. Just tell him belly flopped. And belly flopped it became. Great little monologue right there, the superhero anatomy thing. I think in many ways landed me the Superman writing gig years later because they assumed I knew something about Superman based on
You
that
talked about
kryptonite
blowing
concept.
semen at Wonder Woman's back?
Sure.
That's
you know.
Hollywood. All right. Get him.
I remember in the first draft of the script, there was a funny bit here, though, where when they're fighting about the food court, a guy walks by.
No, the dial.
Okay.
Guy walks by.
The guy walks by, and he's and he like refers that whole argument. He asked the guy, "Is this the food court?" And he basically repeats line by line exactly what Jason Lee said. It always made me laugh, but apparently they didn't like it at Universal and made you change it.
Got taken out. Universal, in good faith, never really made us take out anything.
Well, not when
in
you were
the
editing.
production or in the
Yeah.
post-production process during the writing.
The writing, yeah.
But Mosier and I were pretty ruthless with Paul Dixon, our editor, in taking stuff out, and particularly after that really bad first screening, that whole opening 20-minute
Since their
chunk.
laissez-faire attitude with Mallrats, it's so changed there too. Now they're like, yeah, we let a filmmaker do what he wanted to this movie called Mallrats. Like, what exactly?
Yeah, I mean, he took 14 minutes because they arrive at the mall at the 13-minute point in the final cut, and then in the original cut, it was 27 minutes when they walk into the mall.
The thing we
Well, our
learned was
original
if you're going to
test
have a
screening-
Mallrats, a movie called Mallrats, you better get them into the mall
Yeah.
within the first half hour.
Well, the original test screen, it was over 2 hours, and we were just like, it can play as a 2.5-hour comedy about malls.
We were making the argument to the folks at Universal, just going, no, a 2.5-hour comedy will work. You don't understand my audience. They're like, audience, you made an art house picture. It grossed $3 million. I'm like, you watch. But they had faith in the picture over Universal.
Yep.
Tom Pollock, before he left, was calling
Oh,
us
yeah.
up during production. He
called
was
you
just
on
like,
the
I
set.
saw the Stan Lee and Brody scene. Let me tell you, it reminded me of George and the American Graffiti stuff with Wolfman Jack
Yep.
and Dick Dreyfuss. And I was just like, George Lucas? Tom Pollock subsequently left Universal. But there was high faith in the movie, man.
You can come by these down at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey, 69 Broad Street.
Give him the phone number.
Mount Street, I'm sorry. 7580508, 722 area code.
There you go.
Oh, jeez.
You can buy these blueprints.
Yeah, we got these blueprints.
Why
for
you
sale.
would want these blueprints?
Hot item, dude. Always sells.
Really?
People love them. Love them.
You know,
He's
Gordon
mad
has
because you ain't got none.
This
Boy.
little kid was, this was a tough day because that kid was very,
This little kid was how we should say difficult.
Yes.
This is a few years from now, so he's probably about 26.
Dustin.
he was difficult and he cried, and ostensibly I heard it was because I had a beard. He was afraid of the beard guy.
in Minnesota,
How'd
you
you
don't see
happy?
that much.
How'd you get him happy? How'd you get him to smile?
Muse, we pulled Muse out and told Muse to moon the kid.
Oh
So
my
Muse
God.
came out and pulled his ass out of his pants and showed it to the kid. And thankfully, nobody charged us with, child endangerment or any of those things.
did it make the kid happy?
Does Muse's ass make anybody happy?
Yeah. Found it and bought a pop after
Oh,
that.
Here we go.
Oh, look.
Where? Oh, God.
My huge bald spot. And then we fell in love, ladies and gentlemen. I want to point out for the
Initially,
record,
there
though.
was titties in that shot, right?
No,
No,
the
no.
second one.
This was the
I
first
want to
day of
point out
shooting.
initially, though, in the draft of the script, there was a dressing room incident where
Oh, yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob were looking at her from one side of the dressing room, jerking off, and cum shoots over the top of the wall into her hair. And Jim Jacks was like, "That's filthy and will never play the audience." Cut to this summer, Cameron
Something
Diaz in a
about
little
Mary.
picture with cum in her hair, and she's grossed 150 million
They
or
put
so.
that on the poster.
Yeah.
Semen in the hair on the poster.
Flat out. So,
He could have
Jim,
sold
I
this
was
movie
right.
with
I was
semen in
right.
the hair.
Cum in the hair is genius.
It's kind of the year of semen, though, with the president and the dress.
There's a lot of cum
Mary.
flying around.
This
swimming
was the
around.
first day of shooting.
This was
Yeah,
it here.
and it was hard. It
This
was
was
really
first,
nerve-wracking.
Little Renee Humphreys, who played Little Trish the Dish, was beat out Jennifer Love Hewitt for this role. It was neck and neck with her and Jennifer Party of Five's Jennifer Love Hewitt.
We could have had the whole Party of Five cast.
Yeah.
We could have basically.
But we did get a copy of her CD.
Yeah, we did. We bought a copy of Jennifer Love Hewitt's CD later on because we heard she became a singing sensation. Then that show broke out.
This
But
scene,
I stand by Renee. I thought she
Yeah,
did a
she was really
tremendous
good.
job,
This-
and I think she was more believable.
Ironically enough, this sequence was actually a little bit shorter in the long cut of the film because you were trying to trim stuff throughout rather than drop the whole opening. So on that one tape that we have, the really long version, they don't have this whole little bit here where they're looking at the calendar.
Right.
And you went and put everything back in when you trimmed that whole opening.
Yeah, the calendar bit I liked. That was based on a girl I knew who actually did stuff like that. Would write down little images or symbols in her day planner to remind herself when she had sex. Me, I don't have that problem. I mean, it's just like, of course I remember. I don't need to draw little pictures.
1990 and then again in 93.
And in this scene, there was a bunch of people at the mall watching.
Heavens,
Oh, yeah.
yes. Well,
Yeah.
throughout the whole process of shooting, the
That was
mall.
only the first week and a half that we
Yeah.
shot days.
Yeah.
Right,
And
and
it
then we
was
were into
open.
nights. But the mall was up and operational. It was a 50% capacity, so we were allowed to mock up storefronts. But they would stay open while we were shooting. And the Mall of America, which was down the street, a ways, about 20 minutes, kind of took away commerce from the Eden Prairie Mall, and so it was kind of like the Dawn of the Dead
Yeah.
Mall. There were just a few straggling shoppers.
And you actually
Looking
wanted to have, because when you went there, you discovered that whole mall walkers thing in the morning where they bus in elderly people and they walk around the mall for exercise.
And
I
all they
remember,
do is walk around the mall.
At one point, you wanted to do a Dawn of the Dead parody, but you never did it.
Never did it.
Yeah, but that would have been pretty.
That's right. It was called the Eden Prairie Mall, and there's a bizarre reference to it in Chasing Amy.
Yes.
where
Yeah, the Eden Prairie
She
Mall.
says
Well, we had to make it
Prairie?
part of the New
Yeah.
Jersey continuity.
Yeah.
Like we're for the Mallrats, for all intents and purposes, in the Mallrats universe, this mall is in New Jersey, but really it's in
Eden
Minnesota.
Prairie, Yeah.
Minnesota.
And they were shooting Fargo right down the street from us when we were shooting this.
Yeah.
And we would
We were
laugh
like-
all the time and go, Fargo, that movie's not going to make any money.
We actually had one of their PAs when they finished came over to us. That girl, and she was telling us about that whole chipper scene in Fargo. I was like, whoa. But
And they had a hard time finding snow. I remember that.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
chasing snow all over while we were shooting. We were like, don't chase it into the Eden Prairie Mall. That's where we're shooting Jason Lee's Mallrats.
That line there is funnier than anything in the movie.
Picture.
I remember this bit here when he was talking about how he found out about the marriage proposal caused a lot of when
Oh, Ben.
Wait a sec, we got to
yeah.
point out Brian Walt. Walt
And this
Flanagan
sequence was
right
much
there.
longer.
They're standing next to the template. Brody and Walt. Jason Lee and Walt. And yeah, this is the longer one on the DVD
Yeah.
too. There was a whole opening sequence to the scene. And Bry playing Steve Dave.
The thing I love about this scene is right when he blows the whistle, the cop's there.
I love is the fact that he has a whistle.
Just
Okay, I'm
waiting
here.
to descend.
oh
This was reminiscent of another. You went back to the well for Chasing Amy.
And it got cut, unfortunately.
And see that vulgar jersey? You can buy that too at Jay and Silent Bob's.
That's
You can
DP
stash-
Dave Klein, by
Yeah,
the
the
way.
bald guy is Dave Klein, or DP, with Stan written all over his head.
Yeah.
I like those characters a lot, Steve, Dave, and
Yeah.
Walt.
They also show up on an MTV short and
And they're in the
They
comic
show up
books
in
that we
Dogma.
do, and they show up in Dogma as
as
well.
abortion protesters.
Yeah. And for the comic book savvy, we're sequelizing Mallrats in the comics this winter, I believe, or spring. It's called Mallrats 2: Die Hard in the Mall, which was the planned sequel for this movie. So high on this movie was Universal that they were like, "Can you sequelize it?" And we were like, yeah, we're going to do Mallrats 2, Die Hard in the Mall. We were making plans to sequelize this film.
That guy up there is a stunt double.
Yeah,
but
that wasn't
the
me.
close-ups are actually you, and you actually did leap off into like a mattress. I
Into a
remember.
mattress, but
Yeah.
leapt onto the second level up
Yeah.
there. But, yeah.
Well, you jumped in a cup of water, I thought. Yeah.
Fly, Fat Ass, Fly. Which
Got
became
cut.
Fly, Badass in the trailer and Fly, Fatso in the TV version.
And here comes the.
Which is on a shirt that you can buy at Jay and Silent Bob's.
that was
Ever
designed by
shilling.
Scott Mosier.
Ever just shilling, yes.
Here
Moses.
comes-
That's
that's
Carmen.
Carmen.
Well, that's Joey's tits. But that's, that person that I bust through the sign, the picture, the popular girl is Carmen Llewellyn Lee, Chasing Amy's Carmen Lee. Who's the one that kisses Joey in Chasing Amy, and that's Jason's lovely wife. She was also in a little cut sequence that I believe was on the TV version, wasn't it?
I don't think it went
No,
that
no,
far.
it
They
didn't
didn't go that far.
They took that out.
Do we have it on the DVD?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
we can
tongue?
get it.
Yeah, the tongue, where you're like, hey.
This sequence was oddly zoomed in the TV version. I think they had to crop out the coke.
They cropped out the Coke.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they
Really?
can't,
For the
ABC
rights.
won't shill for
All
Coke.
right. Good.
This
Like I
sequence,
care.
when Jay and Silent Bob show up, this sequence originally had a scene that ended up in Chasing Amy where they're comparing scars.
In one of the drafts of this picture.
Many of the drafts.
Many of the
went pretty
drafts, there was
far.
a sit around. They have this conversation about scars and going down, and they had a friend who worked at the chicken stand named Hooper. And
Yeah.
they were having. There was going to be Brody, TS, and Hooper sitting around having. Well, TS was Quint.
Yeah.
TS Quint. So Brody, Quint, and Hooper having a conversation reminiscent of the one they had in Jaws. But again, in the pre-production process, the development phase, they were saying, "Oh, it's not very funny. Nobody's going to laugh. You talk about going down on people." And I was like, "All right, and save it, and put it in a different movie."
film that was much more successful if the studio listened.
The line here used to be, "This fuck's a walking calamity," and Jim Jacks asked that we take that fuck out on the day we shot the movie because he thought there were too many bad words in the movie.
Didn't you actually get a memo from Universal at one point
Watch
during
the
production?
language.
Jim is
yeah.
a real Puritan when it comes to the language. It's
Oh,
weird.
he almost didn't get hired based on that. He was just like,
He was
"Oh,
a potty mouth."
Ben has a potty mouth on Days Confused. We
Who
almost
uses
fought."
the phrase
Potty mouth.
We just missed Bob
Yeah,
Hawke.
we just missed Bob Hawke walking off the escalator. Good
You
friend
can
of
see
ours.
him again in Chasing Amy.
He isn't
Yeah.
chasing Amy.
Get some answers. The ADR. Where are you going? Get some answers.
Oh, look who's back. Comes to join us.
Finally, and
And
notice the
Before he
gear
saved
too.
the world in Armageddon, or won an Oscar for Good Will Hunting, the only place you can find Ben
He was
Affleck was at the
dancing
mall.
for chicken.
And is Shannon Doherty wearing a different outfit? in
now,
this scene?
I was
Shannon
fat,
wore
you
a
son of
different outfit
bitch.
in every. Shannon wore a different outfit in every scene. Her logic was, well, she got to keep her wardrobe contractually, and her logic was that she's at the mall shopping. Why wouldn't she change every scene? The whole picture takes place in the span of a day, and I was like, I don't know if we can have you changing every scene. She's like, well, I'm shopping. I would change every time I go to a different store, and I couldn't argue with that logic. She's also wearing a Degrassi High jacket. I got to point out for our Canadian fans.
Which she didn't want to do.
She didn't want to do because that was her. She got to keep that jacket, and when she found out I stitched lettering on it, she was really pissed.
You missed my physical comedy there.
Believe me, we missed it because it's non-existent.
At one point, wasn't there a discussion about possibly reshooting this scene because you thought it might be too angry, but then
Yeah.
It was
and
not
then
by
we-
me. It was by
by virtue of Universal.
Yeah, they were
But then
like,
we
"It's too
watched
harsh."
it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
and we liked it. So
But you did.
Well,
you
there's
did
some
shoot
great
the
delivery,
insert.
man. There's
Yeah.
great delivery going on here in terms of how fast they delivered the dialogue. You
Yeah.
can barely understand Shannon, and I guess that doesn't work for the picture, but it worked for me. I liked it a lot.
I just love some of the Jason stuff in here.
And we got to point out too the little boogie, the little post-coital boogie you do.
Oh, yeah,
that came out of
that's
rehearsals.
awesome.
That was we were sitting around talking about clubs and whatnot, and Lee was like, "I've been to clubs. They're all like," and we thought that was hysterical. So we had Jason popping up out of the bottom of the frame after he has sex here with Shannon's character and doing that.
Wait, you should have wrote it in for me to just punch her.
That we saved for off camera. I don't have any thoughts on Shannon. I mean, my thoughts on Shannon during production was she was she was nice enough to me during production. You can kind of see where the reputation
She was
came
a big
from.
fan of Dogma, wasn't she, man?
Oh, yeah.
She really wanted to do
Dogma.
Dogma.
back then.
Back then, yeah. But then later on in life, she kind of turned her back on me.
But she never hung around. So I mean, I was a PA, but I never saw her. It was like she wasn't there.
She did just flat out take off. This scene was cut down
Yeah,
substantially because you turned to him and go like,
No,
hey,
not
man,
this.
you
It was
shot
the next
Pope,
shot.
didn't
Because
Yeah.
they cut back to him again.
Oh,
you?"
wow.
Lee, the butt shot, the ass shot.
We each had like 5 pair of underwear on. We didn't want to touch.
But
How
this,
was it? What was it like to kiss Doherty? Isn't that the question they asked you on all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
press tours? What was your stock answer?
here's the scene that was longer. But what was the answer?
No,
Yeah, I'm
let's stop
curious.
and appreciate.
I
You see that
I
look?
really didn't want to at all.
You didn't want to kiss
I
her?
was dreading this scene.
Because you'd heard she had potty mouth,
Yeah.
like Ben Affleck.
I turned that potty mouth into Oscar gold.
You said it was a good size.
And after every take, we'd kiss, and then I'd run back to my side of the elevator and
Right.
like wipe my mouth and stuff. And she got offended. Like, what's wrong with me? Do I have cooties or something?
You're like, yes.
No, just crooked.
Hey, there he is.
Ooh.
They meet again.
It's a Danny Elfman kind of.
This is
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill this. Ben playing yet another one of his movie heavies up
Yeah.
until the Chasing
until
Amy Going All the
Kevin
Way
Smith
period.
yeah.
Gave me the chance.
You're a bunch of heavies. It's you
Yeah.
getting
Constantly
fucking girls in
telling
the
people
ass.
I'm
in
gonna
this
whip your ass.
I just love that
Little
bit when
punk.
she goes to touch Ben and he just won't let her touch
You
him.
back reminisce of the Chasing Amy, where you back away from.
You see
from
my
Alyssa.
styles? Do you see?
You just
now?
keep working
Look.
your science. I know. Just using the same tired bits, always pulling away from women. The subtext we can go into and examine for hours, but let's concentrate on the picture.
Let's move forward. What an interesting background.
It's a mall, dude.
I
like
gotta
that.
say,
I
though,
like
Kev-
the pulse thing myself.
Yeah, that was at first. I kept doing it with my thumb, and you're like, "No, you idiot! There's a pulse in your thumb too."
There is a pulse in your thumb.
No, I gotta say though, Kevin
that
made
in
it
health
easy
class?
for me to do the elevator scene because he could have been like, "No, man, I'm a fan of Eric Roberts movies. I want you to make out with your tongue and everything." You made it easy because it wasn't very easy.
And one of these
you don't have to
takes,
use your tongue, dude.
in one of these takes, Jeremy actually got
Whooped
hit.
in the balls. That was
Yeah.
actually the take right there.
That's the one you
Through the
used?
leg shot, yeah, we used the one where he actually got
Wow.
nailed. He got nailed hard. She actually wailed him, and 20 minutes he was just lying on
Yeah,
his back
he
on
was
the
out.
floor.
Jesus.
We were all chuckling and stuff. Joey felt real bad.
It was a real
Not too bad,
two-fisted
though, you know what
haymaker.
I'm saying? Joey, you'd worked with on Dazed and Confused, not personally, not close, but
I knew her, not biblically, but we did.
Walt Flanagan. Walt, you gotta be quick on this thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're well.
I'm about to go into my bits.
That's
and you're just
Walt.
like, yeah, we're Walt Flanagan. The dude
That
keeps
is Walt.
popping up, and everyone's like, it's Walt, it's Walt. All right, Walt's gone.
No, Walt.
This is my other friend from home, Pete.
He has a good reaction though. He has a good reaction
Oh,
here
this is
though.
so funny
He
when he was
does.
fired. This is actually isn't this now Rooker's first scene in the film that he actually speaks?
No, yeah, that he actually speaks. Yeah.
Wow.
He's all scared.
I mean, I guess you like those shirts, huh?
He's the heavy metal version of TS.
The alternate
so
reality. T.S. of Earth 2.
Wasn't it Rooker's idea to shave his head?
Yeah, Rooker came to the set while we were shooting one of
They
the
tried
walks.
to pepper his hair and make it gray.
They tried
but
to make
looked
it
like
gray, and he said,
baking powder
"How about I
in
just
his
shave it?" And they shaved it, and he looked like Lex Luthor.
Dave Chappelle.
It's Dave Chappelle. There's a right there that
Little
line
80-yard
right there
line.
where he goes where auction offer an effort to
Better
further your
It
own
was like
career.
further.
Yeah, he actually kind of pooched the line. He says, in an effort to further your own career, and I was like, feather. So we put in better because it was the one,
best take,
the good,
yeah.
really good
Just
take.
like print, move on. Feather, further, whatever. Fine.
Kevin actually shot quite a bit of coverage on this, regardless of what Ben Affleck says.
I know, it's like
and
the
it wasn't
most
all,
coverage-
and some of those backgrounds are very interesting.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at those streamers.
Look at the
No, it's-
contrast.
look-
Do you
look at-
see? This is about the difference
Yeah.
between two people. My peeps
Oh
blowing
God!
up.
Oh,
Somebody's beeping bit.
look at how long that
Gotta
tape
go.
was.
What are you
Oh, look
doing?
who's in the picture, man!
Scott Mosier.
It's
Scooter.
Mallrats Scott Mosier.
This is my
View
school
askew,
ties
Scott
Ben
Mosier.
Affleck
Yeah.
performance.
Exactly.
Just done over again.
Just very wooden
I know
and
you're
firm with the jaw.
There was a bit that was cut
Jawbone
from
acting, I
the
believe we'd call it.
from the head of this scene when he picks up a what does he do? It's like a close up of Jason and he's looking at girls' lingerie and he says a
And he
line.
says, "I wonder if my mother ever wore something
wore a
like
pair
this."
like these.
Real big pair of undies.
Why'd you have
I
this
like
girl
this-
taking her clothes off all the time?
Because it's sexy. There was actually a girl who came in and did this in auditions. Like she came in and was trying on panties in the audition.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
And so we
From
just
New York.
worked it, and she didn't get the part, but we worked it.
Turned
into
to
the
Don
part.
and you were like, all of them should do this.
We're like, we're gonna need you to do that scene again.
We did, and we just flat out told Joey to do it. This is actually my favorite song in the soundtrack too. Is right here in this piece.
I remember you changed the scene a little bit during shooting too, like that. Like originally they didn't do it in unison because I remember when we were watching dailies there were several takes.
Well, we added the whole except for the mustache and the
Yeah.
Didn't I look just like the bandit except for the mustache?
I remember during dailies seeing like 4 takes where there wasn't there, and then the last couple takes it was there.
I think we went up to 10 takes on this thing, trying to get that except for the mustache.
Any Reynolds references in Amy?
Again, the meat
And Amy,
are there.
I don't know.
Because we
but-
got to keep it up.
Yeah.
It's been 2 without it.
The Reynolds
Especially-
ones were in this flick, and then we added. We found out while making the picture that Lee over here is a big Reynolds fan, and we kept adding more and more. It's another one in Dogma.
Oh
Yeah, there, like at the end too, no? Something about getting home
Yeah,
to watch Smoke.
Smokey and the Bandit in one of the takes we didn't use.
All right. You know how when someone lays with their back
Now wasn't there
behind them really close?
the end of this scene? This is actually pretty amusing. These guys.
There was one of
spooning
these
here.
takes where he goes.
He calls her.
He calls her a jackass at the end of it, which I loved. It was when you go,
And
that's
again-
it's a metaphor for our whole relationship, jackass. And Jim Jackson's like, that's too harsh.
potty mouth. you know, like potty mouth.
Jackass. And
I'm surprised that Jax let this get by because wasn't he like he made you cut any sort of homo humor in this?
yeah, the kind of the homoerotic subtext of the picture was trimmed way down for fear of the other in
Yeah.
the parlance.
But
And, some got in, but not as much as I would have liked.
There comes the big
This is when I kicked Barney's ass.
Look at this cup hit. Awesome cup hit. It's a real cartoony moment. This was the one blunder, I think. Well, there were many blunders in this picture, but this was the one blunder in as much as there is no score whatsoever in this scene, no music, and it just made it much creepier than it truly is.
The ironic thing is you cut this sequence in half, and I think it's creepier now because you end on a hit. You end with Jason just getting hit and falling, and Ben just laughs. And the original cut of this scene was about twice as long.
I think that's the funniest thing you'll ever say. I have no respect for no people with no shopping agenda.
Probably not. Like
Lots of
I'm really
hits.
throwing a beating in this.
Thanks a lot. That really
This
hurt.
was traditionally your role in
It
pictures
was.
up until a little while ago. You
The
were just
lean-
a guy who would beat ass all the time.
The lean is good.
what are you
though.
looking at?
Yeah.
I like the lean though. Like
Now this scene was you originally dropped it entirely,
Yep.
and it was up until the end because we have
Then
a
I
copy.
fought for it because I was like, I think that kid's gonna be big one day. We
Yeah.
should put in as much Affleck as possible. And the studio was like, no.
Oh,
That
there
was
we
a
go.
nice hit right there.
Yeah.
We went out as long as we did. You had cable, so you can.
all right, so this is one of
Joey
the best.
back in the picture. This is
Yeah.
Joey's last little sequence in the movie, except for the scene she has
Yeah.
with Brandy coming up.
Oh my God.
This was bizarrely re-edited for TV.
It really was.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. Look at Mew's little bit of business, man, where he pulls this candy out and does it just in enough time to deliver his line.
This bit with Silent Bob is really funny because he realizes that's the girl.
And she looks when I leave too.
Yeah,
There's
she gives this look.
See, she's kind of watching me go, like, isn't that the dude who? Never mind, Shannon
Yeah.
Hamilton.
I was like, come on, son of bum.
Yeah, come on, Silent Boob.
Howdy ho, bro.
Oh yeah, what, like the back of a Volkswagen was originally what, like a dumpster.
Right.
Like I remember reading that in like
Back of
every draft.
Volkswagen made a little more sense.
Yeah, the back of a dumpster, because everybody was saying it as if that's like a normal place for people to screw around.
At a time when Volkswagen just weren't that prevalent.
Yeah, you know.
I tell you, I was ahead of my time. We're very, very far behind.
There's
That's an interesting
depth.
background. Look at all that candy.
Look
and
at the
color.
depth of field.
Joey, we were always kind of sad that we didn't have more screen time for Joey. Joey really wanted to play Renee, and there's a bit of a really weird story in there too. In as much as she was promised the part of Renee at one point, and we were led to believe certain things. It's very, very heinous little dark tale of seedy Hollywood politics, which we won't include. But she wound up coming into the flick anyway in the Gwen role, and was quite good. So good, in fact, that we used her in the next picture.
This kid's face is good right here.
This one kid with the buck tooth.
Yeah, right there.
And there's a little old lady. This shot went much longer, and the little old lady comes walking up and starts pummeling them too at one point. But that went on for like a year.
It did kind of go on longer than the picture itself.
Yeah. Ooh.
When his master calls. Joey's other scene, final scene in the picture.
It's Gordon.
Though at one point we were going to do this, we did all the character wrap-ups at the end, where are they now type stuff, and we were going to do her just tap dancing for no reason at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
And then, or she was going to be, and Gwen went on to become country western star Lauren Lyle, but we didn't do any of that.
I wish Claire got naked in the movie.
I think you speak for many of us when you say that, when you express that sentiment.
Wasn't the nudity kind of part of the deal with Universal?
And even if I did meet one, I guarantee I'd use some as a basis.
But what they wanted with Mallrats was a smart Porky's. They kept referring to it as a smart Porky's. They hadn't had any teen titty films in years. They're like, this is a smart Porky's. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, just cut out all the raunch.
Basically. But leave the tits. And they were talking about how exhibitors wanted movies with tits in it. We were being told from the higher-ups, we need movies with tits. So they fought really hard to get some tits in this movie. There were, of course, there are tits in the script, and as much as the scene with Priscilla Barnes later on, but that's kind of inherent to the picture and funny and not really salacious. But the scene with Joey in the dressing room was kind of a little on the heinous, questionable side. And
Wasn't that improvised, Scott? When you say svinning? Because I kept calling him svinning. And you were like, it's svinning.
Mr.
And he wants to see you by the fucking stage.
I also recall Mosier with Copy That, because this was the first time you worked with a real crew and all these guys,
everyone had
PAs running around with
headpieces
headphones
on.
going, Copy That.
You have a quaint little story about the first day of shooting on Mallrats, don't you? I've heard you tell it.
Oh yeah, I do have a good. You want me to tell that story? We were the first day shooting was the video sequence where we were shooting the thing where that plays on the over the TV screens at the end.
Wrap it up.
There's Walt Flanagan. Anyway, we were finished for the day. Everyone was going home, and Kevin turns to the first AD in the most quiet way. It was trying to be real low profile as everyone starts rocking up the bags and the boxes, and he was so what's the protocol on this? Should I, start helping carrying shit to the trucks? The dude looked at him like, no, silly rabbit. You're the director.
I assure you tonight's program will go off without a...
Welcome to side two. Michael Rooker's opening it up with John Hancock and Billy Bob Thornton.
Well, of course, on the DVD, this will still be side one. But
Those
Oh, it is?
How do you know, Vinny?
there is a
How do you
Laserdisc.
That's right. For the Laserdisc people, welcome to side 2. For the DVD people, I'm glad you didn't turn the movie off yet.
Those guys were good.
Yeah, the network exec dudes.
Yeah, they were good.
Although there's a reference here to the opening scene that got cut.
That's
when he
not
says,
in the movie anymore. When he says if you have any trouble that you had like with the governor's ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm spitting out the dialogue very ham-handedly, but something that can. Don't be punching the mic, dude.
And this sequence was severely cut by virtue of the fact that you cut that opening because he kept referring to it.
Oh, this sequence was
Well, it was
severely
also
cut
long.
by virtue of the fact that Michael Rooker wanted me to create about 15 minutes of backstory. To
Well,
fit in for
virtually
his
to the
character.
virtue of the virtuality of the virtuous nuns.
He did. There was a lot of backstory where he told, Quint,
about-
I was born a poor church father. Literally just went on for, kidding, 7 minutes, and it was a slow 7-minute push-in of very unfunny dialogue.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say about the movie, there's just some jokes in there, but that 7-minute stretch was just deadly. So we cut it down to him just immediately launching into Quint.
I like the way you use your eyebrows in the scene.
These guys, Team LaFours, man, I remember they wanted to be billed as Team LaFours in the credits. They didn't want to be like just extras. They're like, could you bill us as Team LaFours? We work real hard. And I was like, sure, I don't see why not.
And then you reneged, didn't you?
No, they're listed as Team fucking LaFours. Dude, I don't renege, but I don't think it helped their careers much.
There was a little bit that was cut at the end of this, too, where he goes, "You are valueless."
Yeah, which was Jim Jack's favorite line for a long time.
That was a
Really?
Bob
That
Hawke
was powerful.
suggestion, wasn't
There
it?
at Jeremy's eyes, man. He's got some good motions there.
I love how all these like people like indie guru people like Bob Hawks and fucking like John Pearson really counseled you on your teen sex comedy.
This is my favorite line right here. Hold on. When he says, "I too hope to."
No, I like where he goes like Burt Reynolds and shit.
Which was ADR'd afterwards because, again, I had to cover up an edited bit of dialogue. Like, the whole Steak Palm bit was something that you created.
Hold on, this is my favorite line.
That is my junior college class.
What Jason says.
Wow, 69.
I also hope to come loud one day, preferably in a 69.
Yeah, I do hope to come loud one time. 69.
The easiest joke in the film. But what were you saying?
I forget now.
I'm sorry.
God damn it, Muse.
But Rooker really got into eating the chocolate.
Oh, check this out, though. This is now.
I remember at one point, at least in one interview, you said that you wanted Stink Palming to take the nation by storm had the film been a hit.
I wanted the movie to take the nation by storm so I could kick back and retire. Didn't pan out that way.
You don't know how
the
many
movie nor stink bombing made it past
No,
the
you don't know
first
how
day.
many people have said, "Hey Brody, I'm not gonna shake your hand."
You get that
People
a lot.
at airports.
See, I get
and
the
in
reverse. I get
malls.
people who shake my hand and go, "Dude, I stink palmed you."
Yeah, remember in San Diego?
So I wind up washing my hands after every person I meet.
Remember that kid in San Diego just kept wanting to shake your hand?
Yeah, he came up to the table. He's like, "Let me shake your hand. Let me shake your hand." I was like, "Why?" And he was just, "Because I'm gonna stink palm you." I'm like, "You don't tell me."
This went on a bit longer, too, but it actually works really well, the hard cut to them being dragged away.
I like this line coming up.
And your
Oh, this side.
sidekick here from the premises permanently.
Hey, why am I his sidekick, all right? How do you know he's not my sidekick?
I like that.
As it turns out, he was my
This is
sidekick.
genius too, right here. This little delivery, very soft.
Somebody call your name?
Just oblivious to two guys screaming his name through the mall,
This went on much longer.
patting on
more-
her ass too.
There was
a
an
nice little
improv.
Affleck touch.
This is hysterical. There was a that
Muse
one-
is Fatty Boom Batty Blunt speech and Sloppy Bitch.
Look at me, you sloppy bitch.
People love that for some reason.
I think it's funny.
Coming up right here is something that always got a big laugh in the theaters, and we kind of threw it in at the last minute, one of the last takes, and I told Ethan to say, "Call her Brenda."
I did.
You did not.
Did too.
And Ethan didn't know that you told her that.
No.
So he thought she was really pissed off at him.
Yeah.
She didn't know it was coming?
210.
Oh, she knew
She
it was
knew it was coming. But Ethan didn't know that she knew. I like this delivery right here, man. This rapid fire speech you deliver. It's very B-movie kind of. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Let me explain the
I
plot
get it.
for the next 20 seconds.
You plan to kidnap the professor and keep him in the basement.
He's like, I see, Kyle. I see you.
Here we go.
Oh! Womp womp.
This was way towards the end of shooting, too, because we went back to the mall to shoot this exterior bit.
And we shot it. I remember we shot it at night. This
That
was
you
night.
did.
Yeah.
This part was
But
at
then
night.
the
We had to
other part-
reshoot it because Jeremy wasn't wearing his flannel.
Exactly.
Vulcan nerve nooch.
I spit too. If you look real closely, I spit on the dudes once they hit the ground.
Nice. I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah, I
You
tried
didn't
to
have
aim.
the decency to include them in the Team LaForce billing, and you spat on them in their own appearance.
They are a Team LaForce, dude. I gave it to him, especially after the goober.
Another example, though, of a
Look at this dude. I'd run past. Look at the acting on his face. What the?
Oh my God! Rewind that. I've never seen that.
I like Muse's face too, man. When you first come into that, you
Yeah.
got this smile, and then I slap your back, and you get this weird face on.
This was an insert that was shot in California, right?
Yeah.
What acting?
Thanks. Here comes some fine acting.
Team
That
LaForce
took like
run
10, 12
pretty
takes.
fast.
Yeah.
I remember you couldn't get that quite right.
I remember in the original, actually pretty much up till the final drafts, they just left the mall.
Yeah.
And then the studio said, do something cool. Have them get kicked out. So you wrote this little bit and did your little Batman homage.
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't believe they went with
This
it.
is badass.
Nor can
Remember
I.
when when we were up on that
You dudes
cable?
are like firing
tell
your
the
like
story,
utility
man.
belt.
When we were up on the cable,
It's
the
retarded. What if I just sat there the whole time like, this sucks. This is terrible. What are you all talking about? Who's Walt Flanagan? what am I doing here?
You were a fan of this picture.
That's
I'm a
the one
huge
shot
fan.
in
I
New
never
Jersey
apologize for
in
this
the whole
movie.
film.
We're missing tons of shit. This is the only shot in New Jersey, the exterior of the Dirt Mall, which no longer exists. It's replaced by a big old movie theater. This is an interior in Minnesota at a smaller Dirt Mall. But Muse, what about the hanging story?
when we were up on that cable, with the me and Kevin were up there, and his belt started slipping, and he was like, "Get me down! Get me down! The belt's slipping!"
And they had shut the
All right,
machine down.
maybe we should skip that story.
Yeah, and the machine was
That's
shut
Kristen
down.
Mosier,
Yeah.
Scott's sister.
And the
And look at
inspiration
the
for
hat.
one of the
Inspiration
love.
for the Renee character.
And the hat, the clerk's hat, which is an actual clerk's hat that
Kristen
she
made.
Yeah, she made
Yeah.
4 during the production of Clerks.
That's my ex-girlfriend. I wrote the Renee part.
I
about
slept
her.
with her while we were out there doing the movie. Oh, it was a scooter.
Oh,
Just playing Scooty.
We did almost die though in that hanging thing.
yeah, I know, man. We got paid. We got
'Cause we were
paid
a good
200 bucks
feet.
each.
Yeah, we got hazard pay. But we were 50 feet up, man, and we weren't buckled in very securely, and that thing started to go.
And they shut the damn thing off.
Yeah, they couldn't lower us, and then somebody lost the key to the
Yeah.
crane we were on. I felt like it was a commander not being
Let me down! Let me down!
I was
6
panicked.
feet off the ground.
I'm panicked. I'm below Muse. He's like, if we hit, I'm hitting you first. You're hitting the ground. Land on you. I'm like, it doesn't help me.
I would have fucking tucked and rolled, so it wouldn't matter.
Muse had his escape plan all planned out. Meanwhile, we were belted to one another. So you weren't tucking and rolling anywhere. You were falling and dying. It was that simple.
The infamous topless psychic coming up.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of a
These
funny
are
idea.
nice
Most people
set of
didn't.
titties, man.
The dialogue in the previous scene actually,
Let it be said that yes, they're a nice pair of titties.
some of the dialogue in that long Steadicam shot actually refers back to stuff that got cut out of the film, where he's talking about what he told him this morning because that sequence got taken out. But we'll see that.
Oh, you'll see that stuff on the DVD.
Yeah, and the
God
Laserdisc.
bless the format, the secondary market. God
Yeah.
bless it.
This was a little bit longer too, but they told you to cut it.
Supernatural chicanery coupled with sagging, wrinkled, weathered boobs.
Man, this place is something out of Octopussy.
You've come for a glimpse at your future?
Amongst other things.
And this was actually shot in the mall in Eden Prairie, a set. The
In one of
interior.
the vacant
One
stores,
of the
because that
vacant
mall got
stores.
a lot of business.
Yeah.
What'd you think about having to stare down the breastises in the scene, Lee?
Fucking been there, man.
Tits are tits, I imagine. Priscilla.
No, but it looked real though. The third nipple.
Their nipple looked real good. Real good. The prosthetic guy did a nice job. But Priscilla came in and lobbied hard for the job. She came in and auditioned and did a tremendous job. Did she take off her blouse
She
in the
did take
audition?
off her blouse.
Yeah, she kind of bared the breasts in the audition, and we were reacting like Brody reacts later on, all shy and kind of like, well, it was funny in the script. I didn't know you were whip your tits out here.
All right, gentlemen. Free your mind.
I remember Muse was out in the lobby trying to hit on her.
Yeah, she came in and she was like, I met this 12-year-old boy who was trying to sleep with me. Well, like, that would be Muse.
Yeah, but remember she stayed in my hotel one night, watched a movie, and gave me a little kiss goodbye and shit.
use his claim to fame. I kissed the Three's Company girl. And everyone's like, who, Joyce DeWitt?
I told her too that I spanked her when I was a child. And
Try to contain yourself. But look, miss, I appreciate the effort, and I'm sure you're very
So that's what's lacking in Hollywood, a little honesty. Muse style. I spanked you when I was a kid. She's like, thanks. She was in another movie this year, too, The Crossing Guard, same year as Retz.
Yeah.
Looked like it was going to be a big career resurgence for Priscilla, but
She played a stripper in that.
between
didn't
this movie and The Crossing Guard, we just buried her, I
And
guess.
Stepfather 3.
Was she in that?
Oh, wow.
Lee's got his eye open.
oh,
No.
Praise the Lord.
Holy snooky.
She was so game to just play and bounce and caress her bosoms.
Jason's reactions here are just hysterical.
Yeah, they are quite priceless. But it's just so weird because only a few seconds ago he was like, I can't wait to see tits. And suddenly she got a third nipple and the dude's just grossed out to the max.
Yeah, she's not really camera shy.
Heavens no.
I'm considering spanking to it right now.
See, that, my friends, is the real Three's Company.
How can this be resolved?
I think this is
What
actually
Ritter saw.
London's finest work, I think, is in this scene right here.
That's great. Look, I don't buy her power. All right, when's my...
Especially later on when he does, oh, you have a third nipple, and then Jason pipes up with,
What
what
are
are you
you
talking
talking
about?
about?
He has this wonderful bit of a,
For the record, Walt Flanagan's birthday is between the 1st and last of October.
oh, wow.
Let's go. Miss Ivana, why are you stuck here in this dirt mall? I mean, how come you're not in some larger upscale commercial setting? You could be raking in the dough with your kind of accuracy.
Well, believe it or not, some people still frown on
Look at all the guys just shut up because we're just like, look at those boobs. No matter how old you get, man, pair of boobs, even with a third nipple, just kind of quiets the room down. Everyone got real serious for a moment.
I hear Muse shifting in his seat. Hold on.
Shifting, I just hear like Muse.
How did they do this in the TV version? It was really bizarre.
They just kind of came in, focused in tighter,
Yeah.
did that overscan thing to just get rid of her breasts. But
Well,
I
for
guess
that
it was
shot-
implied that.
was really weird.
But they have the whole like, oh, you have a third nipple?
Yeah.
I'm all curled up hiding.
Just terrified.
Do you have...
Any other extra body parts? No.
Just curious.
You could double check me if you like.
look at everybody.
Of course, the bit where she takes it off always gets a reaction.
Yeah, and we cut the tail of that scene. She pops off, puts it in her mouth, and then she would go, cherry, and walk out.
That's actually a little bit gross.
Yeah.
Right there.
That station wagon was like in your driveway for 3 years.
Yeah,
It
I tried to drive that back to New Jersey at the end of the shoot,
And it
so
just
you can use
died
it.
in
It
Wisconsin.
died in the middle of
Ed Gein
Wisconsin.
country.
Yeah, and they towed the car back to New Jersey, and then me and my friend Paul were left with like $500 to find our own way across country to get home.
That sums up Mallrats, basically. That was the production.
Yeah.
We shot this like right before it got
Oh, yeah.
very dark on a
Yeah.
very stormy day.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing
Yeah.
ADR.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was like, hey man, didn't you...
Didn't you shoot the governor's daughter or something?
No.
Because
Yeah.
again, referring back to the opening that got cut.
He
And
got
did he
to-
say, didn't I see you on CNN?
Yeah, but
yeah.
the funny
Yeah.
thing is, though, with the ADR, like, he's so excited about asking him if he broke up.
punched.
Oh my God, that's the guy that
And the
broke
tail
up.
end of that scene is
Yeah.
that he comes back in
Look
and
at
beats
that
your ass
gratuitous-
down.
Yeah.
A nice gratuitous bit of
Spike Mike
Yeah.
Slackers and Dykes,
That's
yes.
pretty-
Ever shilling for my friends. Look at this hurt look.
oh, this is so funny.
That's some acting. Non-verbal acting.
Never shield for me.
Brody,
my
I'd give
career
it all
shilling
up
for you.
for just one more date with
Stan the man.
Stan Lee, Marvel Comics legend Stan Lee. I got kind of cracked on within the comic book community by the likes of a 2-bit painter
They look happy.
who was mad that I included Stan Lee in this and didn't mention Jack Kirby. So for the record, Jack Kirby is just as big as a legend in the Marvel Comics field, in the field of comics in general, as Stan Lee. But as Jack Kirby was, I don't think he was alive at that point. I don't.
No.
Stan seemed like the way to go. Everyone knew Stan. I got to point out that one of my favorite lines in this whole scene is where you go, "What the bras?" They look happy, don't they? What the bras?
Uh huh.
There's our friend Ed Hapstack, who was also in Clerks and
There's my boy Ed. I hung out with Ed a lot during the film.
Toad Cable. He wasn't too happy to be in this picture.
No, he
in the
didn't-
picture, yeah. Working on the picture, no.
He didn't like you. He didn't like working on your film.
No.
And that creepy guy, Ethan Flower, who
worked in casting.
Got the part, hung out for about 4 days, and just creeped everyone out.
Whoa, Biddy just unleashed. Vinny with an axe to grind.
Make you forget how many people are staring at you here and on TV.
There was a take of this where you pull the weed out and it didn't come out properly.
And he goes,
You went
"Snitchy,
snitchy, bitchy, noochies. You unwound. Look at that background. Are you fucking kidding me? Just look at how deep it is.
All the
with
insulting things I've said to you, like the background crack really stuck in your
I'm
craw.
starting to take my craft a little seriously, and I'm looking at this picture. Look at that depth. You can see right to the back of that store. Look at that.
Look at that
with lights.
green, and it's sassy. It's zazzy.
I know, man.
Now, I remember at one point because you wrote Stan Lee into the script because he was friends with Jim Jacks, as I recall, and you thought you'd get him. But there was a point when you weren't sure if Stan Lee could do it. And didn't John Waters say that he wanted to play Stan Lee?
I don't know.
Somebody just mentioned.
Somebody asked about John Waters doing it. He was available, and it could have been John Waters at one point. It was it was post Pulp Fiction, so we were talking about doing Quentin at one point. And that became Stan Lee. Stan Lee, who was working off of cue cards a lot, because he didn't, he got his lines shortly before he shot the scene. So if you see him kind of looking off to the side every once in a while, he's looking at cue cards.
There's
You
a
would
guy,
never know.
he's really good.
He's really tremendous.
But there was a guy like on a crane with the cue cards.
Yeah, there was a guy hanging on by a thread of his pants, just trying to hold the cue card straight. Almost died. Just to get the cue cards across for Lee.
Running contests to see who had the most.
Stanley, not Jason Lee. And to answer the big question, you guys are not fucking related.
Yeah, I've had that.
I get that at every comic show. Are Stanley and Jason Lee related? I'm like, yeah, and they're fucking related to Brandon Lee as well, and Bruce Lee, and the General Lee of
And
Duke
Jason
Sesame.
Scott Lee.
Just
And
a good
Jason
old
Scott Lee.
boys.
Stan did a tremendous job,
he's
though.
good.
He's really emoting.
Yeah.
He's doing shit that you didn't do in any of your, like, in your Good Will Hunting picture or anything like that. Now, that's performance. If you'd study this man a little closer, who knows what might have happened.
I tried. I
Maybe
studied.
Good Will Hunting would have had a Best Supporting Actor nomination.
Oh, I know.
Take this time to gripe at the Academy, dude. Burn some bridges.
I'm just fast trying to dissociate myself from you and everything you have to do. Just want to say to Universal and Gramercy, I have no responsibility for what's said here. I really like you guys.
The whole superhero sex organs thing is very amusing. Didn't you have to change it though in the first draft? Didn't he actually keep saying dick?
Yeah,
but you changed it
we
to
just
dork,
kind of-
and then always got him
Again,
cut off
because
right
it was just
before.
like, there's too much potty language.
Trust me, true believer. That
You keep reading them, I'll keep writing them. Hey, Stan. Yeah.
Thanks, Mean Joe.
For just one more day with her. Take care.
Bye-bye.
And he walks off in the direction he wasn't going when he was leaving. First he's going straight ahead, then he's like, I'm going to hook a left here.
I just got an idea.
This sequence went on a bit longer too, because Stan wanted him to improvise the bit when he's like Excelsior.
Say Excelsior, and then Stan was like, you got that right. We got that.
Yeah, well, I can't thank you enough, Mr.
Oh, forget it. But you know, I think you ought to get him some help. He seems to be really hung up on superhero sex
Nice
organs.
background.
It's not as nice as some others, but you know, it's not as bad as the
That's
Stone
a
one.
background. Look
There
at
you
that.
go. Look at that scope. And then look at the performance. It's epic.
Two different sizes and the shots. The whole thing is just radical.
Coverage.
Look, move. The camera moved.
It's important the future of my relationship.
Who
It's still kind of I Love Lucy blocking, but it's all right.
It's like
Son
the
of a
three-camera Desi Arnaz style blocking. Who dated Renee during production, might I ask?
Scott Mosier.
No, that was after production. Who dated during production?
No one dated her. I didn't date her.
No?
No.
All right.
Had an affair with her.
Well, you just ruined that girl's life. Just sitting watching the Laserdisc with her boyfriend. He's like, what? With the Snoochie Boochie kid? The Boochie Boochie stuff?
Producer?
Bougies.
And now Svenning has diphtheria as a result of the whole stink pump.
Of eating shitty pretzels.
Having an affair.
In the
on
TV
this.
version, it's because he ate
makeup
moldy
girl.
pretzels.
Didn't you go with the makeup girl? Who's that one with the
Cheap effort every time. Don't get he's all mad. Like, what about you? What about those two fat girls that came down the mall?
You went with the help, man. The help.
That was an insert
That we
shot filmed in
later
California.
on because the test audience was like, I don't get it, what are they looking at? So we had to show them what the audience was looking at.
Those guys were lightweights.
This sequence has a very interesting way you filmed it, where the camera just keeps sort of sweeping into the scene every time someone walks in.
But I'll give you that background isn't very sightly.
No, not really.
Just a bunch of wood.
But you do have a lot of moving
looks like
camera.
a real first, second year Saturday Night Live set.
But it's supposed to be the
Just
back
some
of
wood.
a set, though.
It is, and to that degree, I think it was authentic and
I think
honest.
we were
and
going
glad
for
we were
realism
there.
with the movie.
Here's another person walks
There,
in,
and who is that? It's Brian O'Halloran from Clerks. Played Dante.
Also in Chasing Amy, also
Chasing
in
Amy,
Dogma.
also in Dogma. His first of many cameos in the films that followed. And people go, when are you going to use him in a bigger role? And I say, soon. Get off my ass.
This is where I kick some serious ass.
This is tremendous. This is a little rip from Tombstone. You called down the thunder, now you got it.
Hey, Roddy, isn't this the guy Svenning had arrested? Yes, it is. All right,
All right, Quint. There was a whole section of dialogue lifted from there.
Yeah,
That's why we
well,
cut back to the boys.
Again, referring to back to the original opening.
Exactly.
Per the stuntman's orders, I'm already in my stance. Trying to play off like I'm comfortably standing there.
That's Carol Banker.
Yeah, she's the
our
supervisor.
script supervisor, continuity gal.
She was also on
Dogma.
Lots of people on this worked on Dogma.
Ironically enough, even though we shot in two different cities.
Yeah.
They all bagged on Chasing Amy though, because after Mallrats went in the toilet, people abandoned us.
Yeah, but then when Amy was a hit, they were
No,
like,
no,
that's
Affleck
all.
stuck around,
And then
as did
Mariachi.
Lee. Chasing Amy's Jason Lee. That's not
That's
me.
but
Because
that's
that dude is very slender.
But that's the only, I think, crane shot in the film, because you had this elaborate crane, this Luva crane.
And that I'm really standing straight
Yeah.
up, and the camera's turned upside down.
We did that at the last minute.
We did the last minute because I put on gravity boots and hung, and I was like, I can't breathe.
Face was beat red.
All the fat on my body was sloping downward. Gravity pulling. I couldn't breathe, and blood vessels were popping. I can't do this. This isn't funny anymore.
Dude in the audience with a Henry Hudson T-shirt.
That dude's
This
our
dude
James.
grifted you for extra money, didn't he?
He did. He kind of took us for a few extra bones. He's a real game show host, Art James. A lot of old timers knew this guy. They were like, "That's Art James." I'm like, "It is." Well, why didn't someone tell me?
At one point, he said he wouldn't work for the same rate as Ben Affleck, and then still.
More vomit humor. I know Entertainment Weekly thrashed us at one point for,
Because of the vomiting?
for extensive vomit humor. Although we got a good review in the magazine itself, but in those little sidebar winners and losers, we got called losers for having a lot of vomit. Good crowd. The crowd had a lot of energy, man.
Who gave you the good review, Gleiberman or the
No, it was gentleman escapes me, but they used to have another guy who wasn't just Gleiberman and Schwartzbaum.
He was fired right after
Yeah,
he gave us
after he gave us a B+, they let him go. Contrary to popular belief, we did get a handful of good reviews.
Yeah. You have a whole
New York
book full of
Times gave us a good
reviews, yeah.
review. Entertainment Weekly gave us a good review. Village Voice gave us a good review.
There's
There
a
are
guy
few.
at Iowa Crop Report. Who read
This is actually a fairly epic looking shot. You know, you had like 400 extras there.
This is the precursor for the
what
Dogma
you do in
crowd work.
Dogma,
Yeah,
yeah.
in Dogma we work with lots of crowds.
Now, you originally had this swooping crane shot to reveal her that you took out of the film because it took too long. It
It
kind of
was just too long and
Yeah.
for not a very big payoff.
looked like it was something out of a De Palma film.
And that's where it went back to, a De Palma
Yeah.
film. I believe he used it in Snake Eyes,
Yeah,
stock footage.
Probably did.
It's a great podium. I wonder who has it.
Who does that?
I don't know. I think the set designer took that and the chair.
Yeah.
I remember they were all casting lots for it as if it was Jesus' tunic. That chair after the picture was done. Everyone wanted that chair, not me. After the movie tanked, I didn't want anything from the movie. We tried to forget it so quickly, and then a year later, we kind of warmed up to it again and started to exploit it again. And as mentioned before, now we're going to be doing a comic book sequel.
Yeah, and the DVD
and the
Laserdisc.
DVD is
a
here.
Signature collection Laserdisc.
Go figure, man.
I love it.
Remember we had to reshoot
It's called
that.
Justice.
We had to reshoot that scene with her in the chair.
Yeah,
not the whole
You'll
thing.
see it later on. People pretty much pick it up. You don't have to be in film to notice that her shot changes later on to a darker image.
And her hair is a little different.
Her hair is different. She's speaking. It's a different actress. We had to pick up some other shots to make up for the holes after cutting the first half.
Whoa. And you also reshot some of Jay's stuff too. Like, wasn't Do It Doug actually shot?
Do It Doug,
California?
and also
Later
goddamn,
on.
that's one wacky game
Yeah.
show. There's a series of them to choose from.
Yeah.
Look at that. People remember
Oh,
this.
that's hysterical.
I think that's kind of personal.
Lee's little bit of business.
Yep.
That was my one suggestion.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
Then it panned out. I like this myself.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hysterical.
Smooth talker.
First, I'll take you shopping to the stores you want to shop.
Which is the same thing that.
Look at how mad I'm getting.
Yeah.
Then I'd follow it all up with a drive to a secluded beach where I'd pop on the radio and we could slow down.
He's just so pissed.
That was the biggest.
I just remember this whole sequence was birthed one day while I was almost done with the script, and my father was watching The Dating Game.
Yeah.
It was the first time in years that I actually watched it, and I was just like, God, it's a bad show. And to show you how lousy my timing is, I was just like, all right, I'll make fun of a 10, 15-year-old television show, and that'll be the cutting edge of humor in our Hollywood future.
Excuse me?
This sequence, you shot like little bits and pieces of this throughout the shooting, didn't you? Like I remember.
No, we
like,
did it all in like 2 or 3 nights.
We did it all in 2 or 3 nights, but I remember we reshot all of Claire's stuff. We shot Claire once all together, and then she begged us to shoot it again.
And
so
it was
we shot
real
all
late at
again.
night, like at the mall. No one else was
and
there.
she was real unhappy with it. She thought she sounded very British.
Yeah.
I think we kind of came up with some reason to cut, to scrap that stuff and shoot it again.
Because I remember just shooting.
Oh,
Oh,
that's our friend Malcolm Ingram to the right next to Renee, and to the left is Paul Zimmerman, who used to edit Film Threat, now edits over Details.
They
or
did
works
a
at
big
Details.
cover story on us because they knew, to get on
The
hitch
movie
their
was-
wagon to the
to the Film Threat star.
Went out of business shortly thereafter.
Yeah. When there's a Film Threat curse, anything that graces the cover usually flops.
Yep.
Malcolm was there for the entire shoot too. He was supposed to stay for maybe a week, and he ended up just hanging out the whole time.
Cheesiest response to an honest question. I always thought that was pretty funny.
Look at Art.
Look at that. Would you look at the rug on that guy's head?
That's a good reaction right there.
Yeah.
Some dude backstage. I don't know who he was, but he seemed unimpressed.
Look at this. Look at that. I'm not gay. So like I'm not gay.
The kind of guy you want to spend a vacation with is hate monger. I don't hate gay people. So you love them? Yes. I mean, no.
And the another thing about the original cut of the film and that whole opening sequence, not the opening, but the scene when they go to Brandy's house, which we'll see later. This sequence was the first thing you shot
This
with
was
Jay.
the first thing we shot with Muse. This
And-
was
and
Muse
the
first.
studio And it got was- cut in
And the
half.
studio was there, and the studio was, if this was like, they didn't want Muse in the movie.
Yeah,
they wanted
wanted
us to use
Seth Green.
Seth Green, or who was the other cat? The cat.
Brecken?
Meyer. And they made us fly Muse. They wouldn't fly Muse out. Muse, they wouldn't pay him through rehearsals, and he had to sleep in my room. They wouldn't give him his own room. And when he shot his first sequence,
They were going to
if
send
he
the
wasn't
rushes
good-
back to L.A., and
Yeah.
if they didn't like him, he was going to get
he was
shit
going to get shit
canned.
canned, and they were bringing out Seth Green.
Yeah.
So we tried to arrange for Film Threat to be interviewing Jim and Sean that day, and they kind of caught on to our ruse and came out while Muse was performing. And as it turns out, as we all knew, and Universal didn't have much faith in, Muse was very good. And then
Yeah.
you would hear people say things later on like, "Oh, that Jason Muse,
Yeah.
hoochie boochies."
Yeah. And he actually, even the critics who disliked the film liked the Jay and Bob stuff.
Yeah.
But
How do
that's-
you can't not
yeah,
like Muse.
it's just hysterical.
As much as a fuck up as he is, you can't not like Muse. Isn't that right, son? That sequence went on too with her backstage.
Yeah,
she slapped him.
Yeah.
Is that gonna be on DVD?
Yeah, we have that.
That's
yeah.
good stuff. Where she slaps
And that's
him,
also and
where
that's
he refers to me as his boy, but Silent Bob's my fucking boy.
Yeah,
Man.
and that leads into a whole bit with her and LaFours, which we also have.
Look at Ben. Look at that acting. Just what? Delayed reaction. Like, what? Are you looking?
Trying to fight for a little extra moment of camera time. If I wait and hold the look, you can't cut out.
I was going to point out before Mew showed up. His love of TV makes a lot more sense given that sequence when they go to Brandy's house, because he says in the car, he makes a comment. Well, you'll see it later, but there's a whole little bit where it shows how much the Brody character wants to be on TV.
Yeah,
he wants to be a TV star.
That's true. He does mention like he loves to be on TV, and here's a shot.
Yeah, and then
this is an excellent little monologue.
Oh yeah,
and Lee just nailed this one hardcore.
This is fantastic.
Well, become or what?
I'm not in the wide shots, huh?
You are. Some you are, some you're not.
That's awkward.
That's what ruined the picture.
Cousin Brody was a holdover from Clerks. I mean, Cousin Walter was a holdover from Clerks, which points out
Where's
that
Walt?
Yeah, there was a story. Randall told a story in Clerks about Cousin
So Brody
Walter.
and Randall are related.
See, that's the reshoot.
Cousins, yeah.
It's the
Brody and
reshoot
Randall are
chairs
cousins.
where you can't see the top of the chair.
Oh, and that's where she caught him in who he was when she asked him about comics.
No, that's
not
see,
the
that's the
reshoot.
original.
Yeah.
It's coming up right here.
Here it's coming.
No, but you sure do.
I thought we were in love.
Oh yeah.
It's very jarring and dark.
Looks like
Suddenly
it
there's a
was shot
sinister
on.
presence.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's like huge.
It looks like it was suddenly shot on videotape or something, but
It just looks like something that I know what you did last time, or I still know what you did last time.
it looks like they used a different film stock or something. I don't know.
It looks like we fucked up. Let's just call
It's just
it
a
what
different,
it is.
just different lighting and a different chair.
Just
Yeah.
didn't pan- same
That's
chair,
same chair, it's
different
just different
lighting, and a
lighting.
different location
It was in this-
altogether.
I don't think it was the
Soundstage.
same chair. I
It's the
thought it was
same exact chair.
I remember they even had a videotape there, like, and kept referring to it to try and get it right, but I guess it's just basically impossible.
This far, TS. Why didn't you just tell him the whole story?
There we were, just mere hours away.
Just the
There
way
we
he
were.
jumps into that.
Jeremy crossed his arms a lot in the picture, and we never really pointed that out while doing this, but now we can mercilessly as we're getting toward the end. He if you go back and look at the movie, Jeremy's ever crossing his arms in the movie.
Yeah.
His hands are always firmly jammed in his armpits, and he's constantly nodding his head, very chicken-like. Do your London impression, dude.
Do it for the camera.
Do it. Hurry up. Hurry.
Do your
quick.
London impression.
Hurry. We got to move on. Do it. Do your London. Do it. Come on. Come on.
Oh.
Precious screen time's being wasted, man. Come on. Yeah, but do it as the flat-out chicken, dude. Do the whole flat-out chicken routine.
I'm gonna get killed.
Go on. Do it.
Hey. You're the guy that works at Fashionable Mail.
Oh, genius.
That was TV's Jeremy London.
Yes. Lee's rendition of TV Party of Five's Jeremy London.
Chasing Amy's Jason Lee.
Brought to you by Chase.
Rob,
Look at you. You're applauding
happy.
and smiling because that's all we had to use of that.
Yeah, because I was just like, doesn't matter. They don't care about me. I could be doing anything. There's 500 people in this shot.
The film has a very, it's coming up. It has a kind of a sweet wrap up to it. I mean,
It does.
More
It
so
has a
than
lot of
anything.
heart. No
well, actually,
soul, but a
Clerks
lot of
does,
heart.
but
There's this scene coming up where they kiss. I remember we did this take where, we push in as they come together and kiss, and we just didn't call cut. We just let them kiss, and it went on for a good minute, and then finally Claire laughed in Jeremy's face. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And we were like, "Just keep kissing. You want to stay in this country?" This just kept going and going and going.
It's so
He
funny to
used a
watch
second
them
of
two
it.
kiss and then watch Jason and
oh yeah,
Brenda kiss.
Jason and Brenda.
I believe Jeremy used tongue on this one.
Any opportunity to get some.
I like that right there. You go from smile and suddenly you're back into your mission. Hello, everybody. I'll be back. There's a bit that was cut off of this scene, which was one of my favorite pieces, where it refers to Butch and Sundance. Right there, you said, "Hey, do you see LaFour's out there?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "No," and then you go,
A minute
"For a minute there,
there,
I thought we were in trouble."
trouble, yeah.
And Jim Jacks was just like, "Take that out. Nobody will get it."
I think we have that.
Yeah.
I think, I hope we have it.
I think it's in the 100.
That was funny.
Ethan and Lee's last appearance walks through in his hat looking like Rex Harrison. Ethan with the big bellow.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Kick. And runs in a direction that's not the stage direction.
Yeah. You shot Ethan's stuff all in 2 days, but he was there for most of the shoot.
He hung out for a while.
Well, he was on call the whole time because you weren't sure if you were going to use it as a cover set, I believe. Or
Some cats came and went. Some cats were there the whole time. You had to shuffle off to Buffalo all the time to go meet with Meathead over a little picture called Good Will Hunting that never quite happened at Castle Rock.
Yeah, I had to leave a lot. We were doing a lot of development with Castle Rock.
And would leave a note every time he left. Dear Kev, thank you for putting me in this picture.
You don't mention
I'm
the
a good
hand jobs
guy.
too. For you were like, snap me off, and I'll get you in your next one. It's like, fuck, I gotta jerk this guy. God, look at this. I'm trying to bring some realism, some subtlety, some nuance to this ham-handed carnival show.
This is where you invoke the title right here.
You're dead.
You're dead, Mallrat. You are dead,
Suffered
Mallrat.
the kind of humiliation of delivering the least inspired dialogue. Well, kick your ass, Mallrat. So every night I'd go home with a fucking sack of sleeping pills and be like, I should just do it. It's never gonna get me better than this. Fuck it, they'll find me dead in the morning and cast Brian Bloom and fucking call it a night. That guy, fashionable male, killed himself. Really?
Buttman is dead at 23.
Snoochie boochies.
oh Christ.
Buttman.
We're making comic books of everyone. You're Buttman. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I'll work with you again. Sure. Now, Silent Bob.
Lee,
I
working
said
his
now.
working his arms and hands. If you watch Lee, he loves to use his
Look at
arms
this
and hands in
menacing
every
look,
role.
though. See that? Look at that. Just
Stretching,
rolling out.
pointing, gesticulating.
Yeah.
I think it was also pointed out when you cast Ethan that you didn't think it would be very realistic for Scott to kick that and make that thing jump up like that.
It's true. That, of course, was the Empire Strikes Back moment. Now, there's a couple different versions of this.
Yeah.
We
This
reshot
is the
it.
first thing we shot, actually. Was you and Renee in the hotel room.
That's when I was like, this might be a good movie.
That you did several things.
Yeah,
with,
we
too.
did. Damn, that's one wacky game show. Or there's one where he goes, "No wonder she walks
All
all fucked up."
We have a cut with that in it.
Well, we reshot the Ben stuff with him in a dress at one point to tone it down.
Oh, which we have.
God
Believe me, we'll
almighty.
use it.
Let's not
and it'll be
include that.
Entertainment Weekly winners from RS DVD
I didn't have
losers.
a-
Ben Affleck in a dress.
I didn't have a job. They were like, you got to reshoot. So I was like, is it an extra $300? They're like, wear a dress. All right.
This is where he gets his ass beat too.
By
The villain
Jason
gets his
Lee.
comeuppance. Good face too.
There's a weird.
The last time we see him, goes out with a bang.
Fitting.
Ben Affleck, ladies and
Crapped
gentlemen.
on. I was like, can I
TV's
go
Ben
home
Affleck
now?
from Against the Grain exits the picture.
Wasn't he? He was in some TV movie on
Pat Duffy.
USA.
What did I ever
saw.
fucking do to you, Vinny? Jesus Christ.
Oh, Silent Bob speaks. I should just point this out.
Holy shit, motherfucking Yoda and shit.
Adventure, excitement.
Such a womanly voice.
Jedi craves not these things.
Didn't
Jedi apparently craves lunch because I'm so fat in that shot. Jesus, I'm just looking heavy and hefty.
That was my last appearance.
There it
by the
was.
way.
She slaps you on the ass. And you leave with no dignity whatsoever.
I had got half a stock from that when we were shooting it, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can go again.
I like that, Pat. No hard feelings.
Yeah, you're just been arrested. Don't worry about it. I like this shot too. Dave came up with this nice little bit of work. You're looking over her at you, and you jump down. Kind of romantic moment.
Walk
here.
into the little.
You can watch him kiss with his back to the camera.
Yeah, because he's like, he's kissing her ear. He's just whispering hateful things.
Okay, cut it now. Cut, Kevin, cut it. Cut the camera.
She's going, ow, quit yelling. I remember at one point we were going to have Steve, Dave, and Walt the fanboy come back.
Yeah, you had
and
them
she was
hanging
going to
out.
be like, she was going to be there in the audience or there like right before this moment. And they were going to be bitching about what a lousy show it was, and she was going to be saying something to them, and Steve Dave said something bad, and then Walt was going to say, tell her, Steve Dave, and then she was going to beat them up like her boyfriend did earlier.
You really might as well just made the whole movie about Walt Flanagan and Steve Dave, because they're the only fucking guys who saw it.
This is hysterical. I just love Jason going, yeah. Like, of course I've thought about hosting a game show.
Which you would see later on, it goes, that scene went on too. This
Yeah.
was shot at Universal on the lot.
This was shot before I got my haircut, obviously.
Lee wanted this suit so badly. Remember, you were like, can I have this suit? And they were like, no, it's a rental. That was it. This went on for a while. She played drums for quite some time.
Yeah, not doing such a good job.
Oh, but she's having so much fun.
I like this song. Of a girl.
That's John Brody, who used to write for Variety. I
That
believe
is
he did a
John
piece
Brody.
with John Brody in Premiere. Now, is he at Premiere still? I think he went
He's
over
at
to
GQ magazine, and he's
Great
denies ever
journalist.
doing this.
Great journalist. Good guy. And we actually got to shoot at Universal. They excluded that line, too, on the ABC viewing.
Why?
Because they don't want to shill for Universal.
Now this, you see her with LaFours, which will make sense when you see the cut footage.
Yeah, because she hooked up with LaFours.
And they,
at the end of
oddly
the
enough,
picture.
put a bit of that back in the TV version.
There's a piece of this too. That's Affleck's arm, and there was actually footage of him getting just anally raped. His facial expression. First, you're all in pain, and then you ease into it like you like
ooh,
it.
yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was good. We
know.
cut it.
Oh yeah, this is a story about how you got this chimp.
Yeah, we just asked.
It was like, I remember we were on set one day, and you were just like,
We were all talking about how the movie had everything, all the makings of a classic, with the exception of a monkey. And we asked Laura, our line producer, Laura Greenlee, who then went on to line produce Dogma as well, can we get a monkey? And she was like, yeah.
And you were like, holy
shit. So we shot this in L.A. with the monkey.
Other people asked for cocaine and whores.
Some people asked for those kind of perks. We didn't.
You asked for a monkey?
And then we told the story of the monkey, because a lot of people thought the monkey was going to show up in Chasing Amy or something. But we told the story of the monkey in a little comic book miniseries we'd done. Jay and Silent Bob miniseries for Oni Press. Issue 3 tells that story of that monkey.
Team LaFours, they did
There
get
it
their
is.
credit.
See, you fucking bitch. Team LaFours got their due. Jeez, leave me alone.
There's Chuck Zito.
Bob
who's now
Apisa,
on-
who's our stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
Bob taught Jason how to punch. Ben how to get punched.
I put a little clinic on for him, but that's why I threw some. I was like, what if I throw one of these cracks? Look, Mike.
Carol and Lisa both
did.
came back for Dogma. And Scott, of course.
All that I need in the world.
Some of these, the main title artwork stuff says there's some people in there that didn't do the artwork that got credit. The Top Cow people did no artwork for the picture and got credit for it anyway.
Why did they get credit?
It's an oversight. Just kind of happened.
Since this is the first time I've actually watched this movie, I now realize why I wasn't on the poster.
I remember you made us think about that too. How come I'm on a poster? You made us think about every picture too.
I only made us think about it because like every peripheral character is on this
Joey's
poster.
not on the poster
You
either.
walk in for 2 seconds, you're on the poster.
Joey never got on the
Team
poster.
LaFours is on the poster. I just wanted to be on the poster.
So as we wrap this up, we should thank everyone involved and all the good folks at Universal and JM, of course, and for pulling this together, man. A dream come true. Finally giving this little movie an audience. I'm sure maybe 3 people will buy the DVD, but
Things sell like hotcakes. You crazy.
so maybe some people will see this picture, appreciate it in a new light now, with a little insight. And it flopped and flopped hard, but it seemed to find its audience on video, and most people seem to think it's a funny lark of a picture. Some people think it's a gross injustice that a guy who had moderate success with a black and white first feature was given money to do a second feature and made this particular feature, but I stand by it.
It's fun.
And a lot of people ask, like, did I really apologize for this movie? No, I was kidding when I apologized for this movie. I like this movie. It's actually my favorite one of the ones we've done so far to watch, because I watched it the least when it was out, because it flopped so quick, and I never got to see it again and again like I did with Clerks and Chasing Amy. And I like it. I think it's funny. And throwback to
Yeah,
kind
I
of
like
movie
it
that
too.
didn't
I always
exist.
liked this movie. I always thought it was funny, and
this is part of the DVD where we console each other for actually making this atrocity. We're like, yeah, you know, we had a good time.
on the menu it's like the self-congratulatory section. Mutual masturbation. You're good. Thanks.
Lee, final thoughts on the feature that was Mallrats?
Huh?
Chasing Amy's Jason Lee, final thoughts?
Final thoughts. It was my first movie, so it was an incredible experience. Not just the movie, because I watch it a lot and I happen to like it, but I mean, being at the hotel, all the experiences at the Marriott in the parking lot of Minnesota.
Where you did no skateboarding whatsoever.
No skateboarding.
Ollieing off nothing.
Yeah, ollieing off nothing. But just being there with Muse and Ethan and, you know, this... huh?
And Ben.
What?
Muse, final thoughts?
Same thing Jay said. I just had fun. I got to meet a lot of cool people. Ben Affleck from Phantoms and Jason Lee and Ethan and everyone. It was great. It was my first movie that was a studio. It was a nice payday for me. It was great.
There's good money in that studio.
This is Jason Mooney and Fat Buds Muse signing off. Thank you. Good night.
Ben, closing thoughts?
I like the movie. I think it's. I think.
Thank you,
really
Scott.
good.
Closing thoughts?
I mean, it's a great movie, and I think that you always have to realize that this movie led into everything else we've done. The relationships with Ben, Jason, Joey. You know, its failure actually, you know, assisted and
From the ashes.
Yeah, Chasing
Rose a
Amy came
Phoenix.
out of its failure. So, but it's also a great movie. It's fun.
Vincent?
It's a lot of fun. It was the funnest one I had working on.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
And we got to thank Vincent for spearheading this and kind of taking care of things on the View Askew end, because we've been a little busy editing a picture called Dogman. Vincent, thank you. Many, many props. You see that little Silent Bob and Jay will be back in Chasing